What's going on YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my Godzilla comic book reviews. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Godzilla Kai-Sei Era, issue number 7. This one is, of course, written by Tim Seeley with artwork by Hendry Prasetya. I think that's how you pronounce it. But basically, in the last issue, we saw Godzilla basically blown to bits, and that was seemingly kind of the end of him, or was it? Dun dun dun. But yeah, Godzilla's physical body may have been destroyed, but his spirit lives on, as it seems to have possessed our lead character Jacen, and there's a lot of questions about, like, what does that mean? Is Godzilla possessing his body, or is Jacen slowly turning into Godzilla? I guess that'll be the question we kind of have to figure out as the storyline continues within, you know, this little thing. So it's kind of an interesting thing. We haven't really seen a Godzilla possessing somebody in this sort of capacity beforehand, so I am intrigued to see how it all kind of unfolds. But we also have this other storyline going on elsewhere with this girl named May, and it seems that she has the ability to kind of possess or bring forth Biollante in some way, so we'll kind of see how that unfolds in subsequent issues, because it's very briefly touched upon at the start here. But this issue also deals with the fallout of the destruction of Godzilla. G-Force there is kind of praised as heroes. You even have G-Force Japan kind of cheering them on. And of course we have the Dr. Chiba and the Colonel Riviera or whatever, who were at odds beforehand, but he's like kind of acknowledges her methods seem to have worked really well in stopping Godzilla. There's of course Jacen being mysteriously watched. He goes on a date with Nuki, and they seem to be hitting it off pretty well. But when Incense kind of shows up and is seemingly dancing with the girl he's kind of interested in, like, Godzilla's rage just kind of takes over, like, you will not cock block me. He just doesn't take very well to not being focused in there. So I kind of like that. Like, Godzilla's possessing him and just kind of taking over in some kind of menacing sort of way. And that's what we kind of got going on here in that regard. So, but he's trying to, like, control. It's almost like the Hulk in a way. You know how, like, Bruce Banner becomes the Hulk, where he just can't keep his, like, anger under control. That's kind of where it seems like Godzilla's kind of taking over in that capacity. So it'll be interesting. Maybe it is like the Hulk, now that I think about it, but at least like a spirit form in a way. So Jacen turning into Godzilla is an interesting concept. He also found out that his mom was a kaiju, and I guess she's kind of gone from this thing too. Was she destroyed? I'm kind of like, I guess so. But yeah, but before anything major can happen with him attacking somebody, Anguirus shows up, and they go into her fight mode, and then he kind of turns into Godzilla, like almost like an astral projection, sort of like via the energy. Think Godzilla King of the Monsters when he goes full burning mode, and he uses the nuclear pulse attack, and it turns into like Mothra's wings. That's kind of the vision we got here of him in that. Or when Vixen uses her powers, and it's kind of like an astral projection of the different animals and all that too. Vixen's a DC comic books character, in case you don't know, but that's the comparisons I can make to it. And then of course we have the ending with Biollante kind of showing up. So what's going on here? Where is it all going to lead to? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Artwork here is pretty good. I actually think this might be the best looking comic book in the series so far. I think it's a different artist. I think Nicolas Sismejia was doing it before him, but Hendry Prasetya was the artist this time around. I think, like I said, they just looks a little bit stronger in this style. But I think the idea of Godzilla's kind of possessing somebody is a unique one. It's not something I haven't really seen before, at least to my knowledge. I'm trying to think of it. No, none of the movies did that. Now, we had Godzilla and, like, GMK possessed by the spirits of people, but this time it's Godzilla actually, like, inhabiting somebody, and his rage is kind of taking over in certain instances. I think that's a neat idea, and it could lead to some interesting bits of tension. Maybe it drives them apart. What about some of the other stuff going on in universe? How is that all going to tie together? I'm waiting for a big crossover between the 3 different titles, and I'm sure they have a plan to do so at some point, but I am keen to see what they do, because we haven't really done the shared universe in terms of Godzilla comic books, like in its own separate thing, like just pure comic book form, not like movie, like where the MonsterVerse does their comic book tie-ins and all that too. This is its own kind of separate, unique thing, but that was something that did kind of intrigue me a little bit. So, but anyways, overall consensus, I did like this one. I kind of, like I said, a little intrigued where they could go with this thing, especially with Jacen being possessed by Godzilla, and just seeing how Godzilla's influencing his decisions, and how just the rage just kind of inhabits him a little bit. I think that's neat. I'm just interested to see how it unfolds in this particular universe of stuff. It's a different Godzilla storyline. And you know what? That's one thing I do appreciate the Godzilla franchise as a whole, is so many creatives have come in and kind of told different storylines in it, and we're still finding unique and fresh ideas for the IP. And that's kind of amazing. You don't really get that with so many characters. I feel like Batman's kind of done that, but Godzilla's another one too, where so many people have just done their own spin on it and keep finding new things to do with the character that I haven't seen before. And for a character that's been around for over like 70 years now at this point, that's pretty damn impressive, and you got to give kudos to that. So enjoyed it overall. Looking forward to seeing where we go from here. But anyways, if you read the comic book, what did you think of it? Post your comments down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content, hit the bell for notifications, all of the fun stuff. I'll be back again tomorrow with some more Godzilla comic book reviews. I only got 2 more to do, and then I should be all fully 100% caught up. But anyways, that's all I have to say. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.